Hi, welcome back. So this is part 2 of the tutorial series for Proximal One, an interactive audio system for Unreal Engine. In this video we're going to be having a look at the live editing feature because we're going to be using that in a lot of the videos that come after this one. So currently in this level I've got two audio instances. One is just playing a drum track that's looping over, and the other one is just playing this riff. So if I hit play, you'll hear what's going on. So that's just a riff that's playing like a sawtooth pattern that's got no filters on it. It's because we're going to add some filters in a moment, so I thought it might be best to use a sound that hasn't got them on it already. So what is the live editing feature? So by default, when you add an instance into the level, it will set up the instance based on all your user settings on the event begin play. It does that because then it doesn't have to do anything else at runtime. But that also means that if you were trying to change the sounds when you're like in Pi playing editor, you wouldn't be able to hear any changes that you make. So live editing, the live editing feature just basically enables you to do that, and it does it by running all the variables that you can change on a timer. So when you've got that ticked, so if you've got the instance selected, got this category here, live edit, and so you can toggle it here on or off. So yeah, the first setting just toggles that on, and then we've got this one, enable visualizer updates in live editing. So if I was to start with that unticked, and let's have a play around with the filter so we can see what's going on. So when you hit play, you'll notice that, if I just do that again quickly, so pay attention to the details panel. When I hit play, it disappears. So it basically deselects what you had selected, so you have to reselect it. So you just select the instance that you want to work on, and then you can scroll down to the variables that you want to adjust. So for example, if we were to have a play around with the filter cutoff, you can hear that we're making changes to it, and we can hear what's happening. But you'll notice that the visualizer that we're currently using has not changed at all, and that is because we don't have this enabled. So if we enable it now, and we can see that something's changed. So as we change the cutoff, the visualizer is also updating. So this current visualizer shows the filter cutoff when we're using the static cutoff method. So what else have we got? So because it runs on a timer, we can set the processing rate for that timer here, and if I just stop this moment, I'm going to come back to what just happened in the corner in a moment, because that's quite important. But if we just stop that for a moment, this setting, this value can't be changed as far as I'm aware when you're when it's playing. Okay, so if you want to change that, you need to stop it. So if I was to change that now to a faster value, and pay attention to what happens to that filter cutoff when I adjust it. Notice how smooth it is. it a moment, and let's set it to something like 0.5. If I hit play again, so where are we? So here. Notice it's now got a kind of stepping effect on it. It's not as smooth as it was, but the difference is the timer is not running as fast. It's not having to process as many variables all at once. So this setting is basically an optimization thing. So if you're running it on hardware that's not that great, that's what that's for, basically. This is quite a powerful computer, and I can crank that up without noticing any effect on performance. So just experiment, really. So yeah, that's what that is. Also, it's I was going to mention that you notice when I was changing that as I was dragging, it was updating the sound instantly. Now, if you're using Unreal Engine 5.4, it won't do that. And I think it's because they updated the meta sounds with version 5.5. So yeah, just worth bearing that in mind. So in 5.4, what would happen is when you let go of the mouse, then it would update the meta sound. Okay. So what else? So yeah, if you notice the little box come up in the corner that said saving, that's quite important to know about, okay? Because if you don't manually save things whilst whilst it's playing here, then when you press stop, you will lose the changes that you made, and this is just how Unreal's interface works. Okay, so to save the changes, write this down. You need to hit K on the keyboard with the instance selected. Okay, so as an example, with it selected, if I hit K now, we're getting a message in the corner, so we know that it's saved. One other thing is you can select multiple instances at once and hit K, and it will save everything that you've got selected. Okay, right. So this actually, just one other thing. You'll notice on each of these variables, a lot of them, specifically the ones that are related to adjusting audio, have got a hyphen in front of the name. Now, the hyphen tells you that that is a variable that you can change in live editing mode. If it hasn't got a hyphen, it's either because I forgot to add it, which is unlikely, but it could also be because you can't actually change that variable in live editing. Okay, some of the variables, when you change them, will stop the meta sound briefly and restart it on the next bar. This is required in order for the variable to change, otherwise it wouldn't change. So some variables, it's necessary for the meta sound to stop briefly and then restart. That's just how it works. Okay, so that brings me on to the next point. Actually, we've got this setting, use global refresh. So what that is, in a lot of the sections, you've got this option to refresh the audio. And the reason why is because some of these time-based effects, when you change a setting, it can cause things to misalign with other time-based effects, okay? Or misalign with what's currently playing on other instances. So if we were to hit the refresh button now, because we've got this option on, use global refresh, when we hit that, it will briefly stop all the meta sounds and the quartz clock they're assigned to if they're not using the external clock, okay? And then it will restart it all straight away. If that is disabled, then pay attention to what happens now. Only the instance that you've got selected is going to refresh, okay? So you might want that to happen, but there are a lot of times where you might not want that to happen, especially if you're doing any sound design work and the specific instance that you're working on needs to align with what's going on with the other instances. Then in that case, then you're probably better off using the global refresh option. So when you're using this global refresh, when you're moving around the level, you're going to be triggering different instances in different ways, either through collision box or through exit triggers and things. So the audio is going to constantly change and progress as you move around the level. Now, the beauty with using this refresh system is that wherever you are and you hit that refresh button, it will refresh just the things that are currently playing, which means you can run around the level, get to the bit that you want to work on, and then you can start working in that area, and you can still use the refresh button, and it's not going to restart the whole sequence of events. It's just going to restart the things that we're currently playing. Okay, so I think now that I've said that, I think that is everything I wanted to cover. If you've got any questions on this feature, then drop it in the comments and I'll try and answer it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Okay, cheers, bye.